Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about degree measurements, and basically it's this way you've been familiar with measuring. And right angle is 90 degrees, a full circle is 360 degrees, and so on. So today's notes on 1.18. Before we get going, let's talk about trigonometry. Trigonometry is the measure of angles. Specifically, triangles. It is also the relationship among angles and sides. It's also relationships as functions. So if we take our basic 90-degree grid or coordinates, and if I were to sketch this angle right here and label it angle A, B, what degree measurement would you estimate that to be? Well, we know that this is about a 90-degree angle from here to here, so if I were to guess, this is probably right around 45 degrees. Okay? In trig, we call this angle theta, and this is the symbol for theta. Theta is referring to any of our angle measurements. Okay? I'm just going to throw a C in here just so we have that correct labeling right there. We know that this is 90 degrees, 180, 270, and back to 360. The other thing I'm going to put right here is 0 degrees, our starting point. This is our x-axis, and this is our y-axis. We also know our quadrants. This is quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. Notice I've labeled them with Roman numerals versus numbers, and that's how you should correctly label them also. We would say that angle ACB, because we do it in order, ACB is our origin, is in standard position. Standard position is the initial side and the terminal side. Now, if you think about the word initial, that's your starting point, and terminal would be your ending point. So your terminal side, the starting side, is right here at 0, so that would be ray CB. Your terminal side, or the ending side of the angle, would be ray CA. It is always on the positive side of the x-axis. Alright, that brings me to talking about positive and negative angles. Positive angles again, we're talking standard position that we just talked about right now. And it's also in a counterclockwise pattern. So if I have my origin here, and I'm asking you to sketch a 120-degree angle, we will always start at 0. This is 90. We don't want to go as far as 180. So this would be theta at 120 degrees. This is a positive angle. Notice I've labeled my arrow inside here to show the direction that my arrow is going. That is also going to play a very important role. What quadrant does this lie in? Quadrant 1, 2. Now, our angles can also go more than 360 degrees. So if I asked you to sketch an angle that is 600 degrees, we know that all the way around is 360. If I were to go all the way around again, we would be at 720. So we don't want to go that far. So how many more degrees do I need to go around? Well, I've already gone around 360 degrees, so I need to go around another 240 degrees. So I'm going to go almost to 270 and draw my line. Notice I'm using my arrow at what direction I started at. I've gone around 360 and an additional 240. This is in quadrant 1, 2, 3. So on your own, take a second, pause the video, and I want you to sketch what an angle of 440 would look like. So once I go around 360 degrees, I need to go an additional 80 degrees, which is almost to my 90-degree angle, and draw in, and there is theta. It ends up in quadrant 1. Well, if positive angles go in a counterclockwise pattern, which way do you think negative angles are going to go? Negative angles go in a clockwise pattern. So a negative angle still comes from standard position. And it is at a clockwise rotation this time. So it's very important to know. One way you can think about it is negative seems to go down. And so maybe that will help you also. So if I asked you to sketch theta at negative 60 degrees, we always start at 0, but this time we're going to go down 60 degrees. Notice my arrow is pointing down. So this would be theta at negative 60 degrees. So take a second and you go ahead, and what would negative 330 degrees look like on your own? Again, I'm starting at 0, but I'm going negative, so I'm going down almost 360 degrees. I'm drawing in my arrow and finishing up my angle. So this out here is negative 330 degrees. What quadrant does it lie in? Still quadrant 1. So this leads me to the last thing that we need to talk about, and this is the term coterminal angles. Coterminal angles are two angles that share the same initial and terminal sides. So if two angles have the same initial, remember that's your starting side, and terminal, that's your ending side, sides, they are coterminal angles. So, for example, if I sketched this angle right here and told you theta was 40 degrees. There's another angle that shares the same thing. What if I go like this? 360 degrees plus another 40 degrees. Theta would be also 360 plus 40 or 400 degrees. They both shared the same initial and terminal side. Okay? So basically, what am I doing? I'm adding 360 degrees. So, name a coterminal angle to 30 degrees. Well, if it helps, quick sketch it. 30 degrees looks just like this. But what's another way that I can find a coterminal angle? I can start and end right here. I've gone all the way around one time, so that's 360, plus I've gone another 30 degrees. So a coterminal angle would be 390 degrees. But do you also see it the other direction? What happens if I started here and went negative? Didn't they start and stop at the same spot? But this time I went down and I didn't quite do a full circle. So full circle would have been 360 degrees, but I'm not including this little angle right here of 40 degrees. So another coterminal angle would be to take away that 40 degrees at 320, but which way did I go? I went down. So it's actually negative 320 degrees for that part. So now if we go back to this 30 degree angle, what negative coterminal angle exists? Well, if I start here, negative goes down and come all the way around, I didn't quite finish my full circle. So 360 take away this little piece right here of 30 degrees means 330 degrees. However, which direction did I go? I went down. So it's a negative 330 degrees. So on your own, I would like you to find coterminal angles to 97 degrees and negative 34 degrees. Again, if it helps, sketch it out. Alright, hopefully you've paused your video and you've taken some time to do this on your own. The first one I'm going to do is 97 degrees. I'm going to bypass it, go all the way around 360 degrees and another 97 degrees more. So when I take 360 and add another 97 to it, hopefully you have 457 degrees. Now, I also can take my starting point right here and go negative. Now, I'm not going all the way around the circle this time, so I'm going to have a full circle, but I did not include that 97 degrees, and so we have 263 degrees, but remember, what direction did we go? We went negative. So your coterminal positive angle would be 457 degrees. The coterminal negative angle would be 263 degrees. For C, if I go negative and bypass it all the way around, there's a negative 360, plus I have to add another 34 degrees. So negative 360 and a negative 34 means that I have negative 394 degrees. But what's going the opposite direction of the original angle is this part all the way around. However, I stop here. So it's 360, take away this little chunk. 360, take away 34 degrees, lands me at 326 degrees. Which direction did I go? I started up first, which means it is a positive 326 degrees. So that's it on today's notes. If you have questions as you work through your homework assignments, please make sure you circle them and then make sure you dial into the Google Meet